Psalms 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Abishai Ba'Shem B'Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops, salutations to all my fellow laborers, doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathens, that look like the heathens, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. We're going to put Esau Edom, the so-called white man, on blast for murder. The young man that you're looking at on the screen was a victim of a hit and run. He got ran down with an SUV. Just so happened that the driver of the SUV was a young 20-year-old Edomite male, who you would ignorantly refer to as white, who literally got a smack on the hand and put on punishment by the judge, as far as he got no jail time, no criminal record, no sentence, and they got sent home, saying that I hope you're sorry for what you've done. No cell phone, no video games for you. That's literally what happened. As the mom was, tearfully, the mother of this young man you see on the screen, who was murdered by this hit and run driver, protested that this is injustice, and it was no justice. And they frame laws like that benefit them, and I'm going to get a scripture to substantiate that. But first, I'm going to play the actual video that fortunately this young man put up on TikTok exposing this, because I'm assuming that this young man is related to someone who's very important, and his father and his parents or someone in his family is very close to this judge. All right, so let's turn this up because I want you to hear. And here we go.
This kid's name is David Campbell, and this picture was taken moments after his trial ended, where he was found guilty of mowing a kid down with his mom's SUV and then leaving the scene. So obviously they're escorting him home to start his sentence of being grounded with no video games and no phone. I'm being dead serious.
So for the rest of his life, he gets to enjoy his freedom. And then this is the boy's mom, who's upset. No jail time for hit and run driver who killed, should be murdered. He should be charged with a vehicular homicide, but he's not charged with anything. And anyone who will fix their lips to say that this isn't white privilege is a goddamn liar.
Before her son's killer had agreed to a plea deal that will let him walk free with no jail time.
That's not fair. That's not justice. I'm so sorry. That's not justice.
20-year-old Daniel Campbell of Hastings-on-Hudson left court without comment after pleading guilty to leaving the scene of a crash last August.
I just want to level set and explain how much of a softball this entire process was for the Hamptons kid over there that ran over Devesh. So essentially he mowed a kid down, made it home, and looked at the front of his SUV and was like, oh man, I think I killed someone. And his friends got out the car and was like, yeah, you did. And they took a picture of his license plate and told the authorities.
Right, because they didn't want to be accessories to murder. All right? Because if I'm in the car with someone who hits and runs someone, they kill them, and then they just drive away. All right. I'm an accessory to murder. All right. But clearly they wasted their time taking pictures and turning them in, because he got absolutely nothing. He doesn't even have a police record.
Just to be clear, the reason why he left the scene was because, and I quote, I thought I killed someone and got scared. He didn't see a day in jail. They didn't bother detaining or booking him.
Look at his face. Look at this red male. And see, and when we say that Esau is red, all right, the first came out red all over like it. He's red. He's not white. He's red. All right. So that social construct of whiteness is a social construct which is a lie. But that lie saved him. All right, because he surely pulled his white card. Okay, that is the face of a stone cold murderer who feels no sympathy at all. No sympathy, no empathy for the man that he crushed, that he murdered with his vehicle.
Charged him with leaving the scene of an accident, like there was another car involved or something. And even with that softball charge, the DA was like, yeah, we'll recommend 1 to 3 years. He'll probably serve 6 months.
So
and then
there he
house arrest
is.
for the remainder of his sentence. And the judge was like, you know what? Actually, you can just go home and I hope you're sorry for what you did. Like, you cannot convince me that the criminal justice system is broke from top to bottom in this country, where there are people of a different skin color serving life sentences just for having shots fired around them while they were playing Xbox.
Wow.
Like, real talk, there's still like 20 open cases of kids that had to kill their trafficker out of self-defense because they were constantly being raped, and we're charging them with murder. Oh, did I mention there are kids in Pennsylvania that are getting put in juvenile detention indefinitely for stealing candy bars because the judges are getting paid a kickback to send them there?
Okay, let's get some scriptures, man, because how could you listen to any of this and not be angry, man, of the injustices that are constantly being done to our people openly? They're not even hiding it anymore, man. This is Zechariah 11:5. You have a very unbalanced, very unjust system, and what it is that they're making money off of the oppression. Like you said, these are justices that let a so-called white kid literally get away with murder, and then you got 20 open cases where, and there's been a couple different cases where black and Hispanic females, so-called, all right, black and browns, so-called, have actually in self-defense killed their captors, who were, like he said, who were graping them. It's rape, who were raping them and trafficking them, but yet those people who did this are the ones that ended up in jail. There's so many stories about these injustices. This is Zechariah 11:5. Who possess or slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and that sell them and say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. And those judges sell these boys right up the river to these youths, to these internment prisons, and to these juvenile prisons, into these prisons for stealing candy bars and for some of the most minor offenses. Why? Because the stockholders who happen to live in the Hamptons and are big contributors to NYU, which is the reason why this kid didn't go to jail. But yet you're gonna have some racist so-called white person, some Edomite, fix their lips to say that there is no white privilege. And if this isn't the arrogant slap in your face display of white supremacy, white privilege, I don't know what is. All right. So let's get another video. And through the spirit, this dude might be a jape, you know. That's going to go over most people's heads. But nevertheless, you need to hear it. All right?
Everything's easier for white people. Yeah. Being white makes everything easier. Literally. Yeah. There's not one aspect of life that I mean, except for being at the beach and being in the sun. Well, being at the beach, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do shit at the beach that if a black person did it, you know what I mean? Your children can be at the beach flipping shit over, and people are like, oh, it's crazy kids. Well, let some black kids be at the beach cutting up like that. These fucking welfare moms. You know what I'm saying? It's a different
They
thing
get hauled off to jail.
You know, everything's easier as a white person. Even what I'm saying, there's even privilege in me speaking out. You know what I'm saying? Like, white people, it's just everything. You know? And so that's white people have always, as a group, you know, I'm generalizing, but that's what we're talking about, you know. So it's not true of everybody, obviously. No statement that you make about any group is ever going to be true of every individual in that group, and everybody's situation is a little bit different. But I think we'd be foolish to not acknowledge that, you know, that things are just easier. There are challenges that don't exist.
And this matter of fact, this is evidence of it, because I put in NY student killed Indian student with mom's SUV. And instead of putting up the face of the murderer, the killer, it puts his face up. The victim. All right? Driver in crash that killed NYC. He's the victim. The white kid's face, let's go through this, does not show up. It doesn't show up. So even got Google search. Let me see if I can change that. You see what's happening here? So anyone at first glance, you think that this guy is the guy who drove his mother's SUV over someone and just kept going, when he's the one who got drove over. Hey, if this shit don't piss you off, man, you know, and I mean, to hell with Elam, but nevertheless, that was that's a future servant that you know that you got rid of. We need our workers, man. But nevertheless, man, wrong is wrong and right is right. So let's put in NYC student who, let me see if it changes, who killed Indian student with mom's SUV. Let's see if it changes now. It still doesn't pop his face up. This Google search refuses to give you this Campbell's face, which is probably why you're only gonna find it on let me go back, on TikTok.
This kid's name is David.
All right.
Campbell.
That's why, but we're gonna put his face up because clearly there he is. That murdering piece of shit right there. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's play it one more time, just to throw salt in their wound.
This picture was taken moments after his trial ended, where he was found guilty of mowing a kid down with his mom's SUV and then leaving the scene. So obviously they're escorting him home to start his sentence of being grounded with no video games and no phone. No, I'm being dead serious.
Moments before, her son's killer had agreed to a plea deal that will let him walk free with no jail time.
That's not fair. That's not justice. I'm so sorry. That's not justice.
20-year-old Daniel Campbell of Hastings-on-Hudson left
20-year-old Daniel Campbell. 20-year-old Daniel Campbell is a murderer who got set free by a corrupt justice system and a corrupt judge. All right?
without comment after pleading guilty to leaving the scene of a crash last August.
I just want to level set and explain how much of a softball this entire process was for the Hamptons kid over there that ran over Devesh. So essentially he mowed a kid down, made it home and looked at the front of his SUV and was like, oh man, I think I killed someone. And his friends got out the car and was like, yeah, you did. And they took a picture of his license plate and told the authorities. And just to be clear, the reason why he left the scene was because, and I quote, I thought I killed someone and got scared. He didn't see a day in jail. They didn't bother detaining or booking him.
The murderer.
They escorted him to the courthouse where they charged him with leaving the scene of an accident, like there was another car involved or something. And even with that softball charge, the DA was like, yeah, we'll recommend 1 to 3 years. He'll probably serve 6 months and then get house arrest for the remainder of his sentence. And the judge was like, you know what? Actually, you can just go home and I hope you're sorry for what you did. Like, you cannot convince me that the criminal justice system is broke from top to bottom in this country, where there are people of a different skin color serving life sentences just for having shots fired around them while they were playing Xbox. Like, real talk, there are still like 20 open cases of kids that had to kill their trafficker out of self-defense because they were constantly being raped, and we're charging them with murder. Oh, did I mention there are kids in Pennsylvania that are getting put in juvenile detention indefinitely for stealing candy bars because the judges are getting paid a kickback to send them there? Like, it's all broke. This kid's name is David Campbell, and this picture was...
Yeah, so this Daniel Campbell is a piece of shit. So is his mother, so is his father, so is the judge, and everyone that was involved in that case that allowed him to get away with the murder of this young man right here. All right, because scripturally it's eye for an eye, man. All right, but this is they allowed him a plea deal to let him walk away. All right, let me go run over someone and watch what happens to me. All right, even if I go turn myself in. All right, this is Psalms 94:20, and it says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? Okay, let's go to Hab1 1 and 4. This is a good one, and it reads, therefore law is slacked, and judgment doth not go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth every day in America, especially when it comes to people of color, and extra especially when it comes to Israelites. You know, those of the so-called Latino, Native American, Negro, ethnicity. All right. As a matter of fact, let me grab another quick video.
Taking moments out of
which I've profiled before. But just go to show you how crooked they are and how they railroad people to jail, and then they use these like this heifer here being called out by Israelite, and your current vice president is a heathen, by the way. She's Elam, the same as the young man on the screen. She's not a so-called Negro, but yet she railroaded so many to jail on drug charges. All right, so we said wrong judgment goeth forth. But here we go.
Put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
You know, one more time.
Over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed.
All right, so she put over 1,500 people in jail. All right, for marijuana charges. And now, not as a matter of fact, that marijuana was made legal, all those people should have been let go. But why? It fills the quota, and to keep these houses, these jail houses full, so that all the stockholders and the investors get paid, and the judges who get the kickbacks for pushing it. But to complete, you have the Republican Party, and she's a Democrat. The Republican Party voted against Article, I think it was 31, if I'm not mistaken. If someone knows the article, they can post it on the comment board. That would have, would have separated all racist police officers from the police force. So any white police officer who had ever had racial incidents, all would have been removed from the police department. And they all unanimously voted no on this. And then right after that, for the next couple weeks after that, you had a bunch of mass shootings by police officers of unarmed people of color. Unarmed people of color was shot. One man was shot at 90 times, was hit 60 times. Got guys beaten to death, shot down, murdered. And it just continued to happen after that fact. But you would think that if these are independent organizations, which would have done this probe to clean out all these people who have all these charge after charge after charge, but still on duty, of racial incidents, they would have been removed. Could have saved some lives. But that sounds too much like right. That's something my mother used to say. So let's grab a couple more scriptures and wrap this up. Let's go to the book of Ezra. 2nd Ezra 11. There's a couple of them in there. Let's go to verse 32 first, and it reads, "But this head put the whole earth in fear, all right, and bear rule over it, or over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression, and had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been." And that's Esau, Edom, all right. That's the so-called white man. In this particular scripture, is talking about the old Roman Empire, but this is Rome reborn, and it's the same people ruling. All right. Verse 40. "And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past and had power over the world." That's how you know that America is the fourth beast. Okay, the extension of Rome. Rome reborn, because Rome was brought down by so-called black people. Septimius Severus. Look it up. And that's when black people, so-called black people, begin to rule Rome. You had what they called African emperors. They weren't African. They were Israelites. All right. And they also, in the Nicene Council and Constantine, they set up during the Dark Ages, they were ruling all throughout Europe. That's why I'm constantly telling you that all these lies about, when you watching all this history, about Alfred and Uhtred and the Vikings, those weren't white people. All right. That's a lie. None of them were white. They find the blindest people they can find to be these Norsemen in these movies. No, the so-called white man came into power after that, during the Renaissance. All right. Cromwell's whole duty was to remove the remnant of all the black rulers out of Scotland, Ireland, and Britain. That's what he was doing. All right? That's facts. That's history. Look it the fuck up. This is 2nd Ezra 11 and 40. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past and had power over the world with great fearfulness and over the whole compass of the earth, and much wicked oppressions, and so long time dwelt here upon the earth with deceit. And so everything about this nation, everything about the West is false and fake history and deceit. All right, and the Lord is coming to bring an end to it. Happy shall he be that dashes thy little ones against the stones. All right, that spoil your houses and ravish your wives. That day is coming. Biblical payment is coming. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Wakakwadash Wa Ababa Bal Kwam Yasharala.